Who's in the box?
Because I envy your normal life.
Put the gun down, David.
It seems that envy is my sin.
No, what's in the box?
Not till you give me the
What's
gun.
in the f***ing box?
This is Seven. This scene propelled the film into being a contemporary classic. The twist from this sequence is the single inarguable element that made David Fincher's bleak and propulsive serial killer epic into something that's known the world over. And yet, this moment was literally almost not in the finished film. Believe it or not, this twist ending was included all thanks to a pivotal mistake.
How much money you got?
I got like 50 bucks.
I'm pulling the field trip. Come on.
David Fincher might be one of the biggest directors in Hollywood now, but back in the day, he was a struggling creative just like countless others. After bouncing around from Berkeley, Santa Monica College, to Emerson, Fincher decided formal education wasn't for him, and instead decided to try working on film sets to get real hands-on experience. After making some key connections, Fincher moved into directing some of the most visually inventive music videos of the era. Madonna's Vogue, 9 Inch Nails Only, and Aerosmith's Janie's Got a Gun. Countless pop and rock acts throughout the 80s and early 90s sought him out. Everyone wanted to hire him for his considerable skills, but Fincher had the same problem every creative does. Breaking in doesn't come easy.
Wanting people to listen, you can't just tap them on the shoulder anymore. You have to hit them with a sledgehammer, and then you'll notice you've got their strict attention.
So how does a music video wunderkind go for his transition into the world of feature films? Alien, or Alien 3 to be more precise. The story's old news now, but let's just summarize it by saying Alien 3's production did not go well. The principal production was compromised due to infighting, overspending, and political struggles. Ultimately, Fincher's vision was not actualized at all. For some godforsaken reason, Fox still opted to release the film, and everyone had the reaction you'd expect.
It stinks.
So that's where we find him. He's licking his wounds in his West Hollywood apartment, trying to figure out his next move. Would anyone give him another shot? Had he burned every bridge imaginable? Everything was up in the air. His whole career seemed over. He was a one-hit wonder. And that's when his agent called and said he had a script he wanted Fincher to read. It was a crime film about a serial killer themed after the 7 deadly sins. The film had originally been written by an unknown writer named Andrew Kevin Walker, who had been working at a Tower Records in New York, writing this script on nights and weekends. All his free time had been consumed by this murky tale of Mills and Somerset, two detectives desperately trying to solve a case that might unravel them both. Eventually, Walker's script started to get a little buzz around town due to its shocking ending, and was then optioned by Jeremiah Chechik, the director of Christmas Vacation. The only problem was that Chechik's sensibilities weren't exactly in line with this brash and existentially nihilist climax. He wanted something slightly different, and Walker had obliged, writing multiple alternate endings to the film.
There was all these efforts to try and weasel out of this, ending that was the only appropriate ending as far as I was concerned.
However, after a protracted development cycle, Chechik left the project, and Walker was looking for a new home for his story, which is how it got to David Fincher. The draft that Fincher was sent by his agent was not the rewritten Chechik-produced draft. It was the original ending, with the shocking twist ending still intact. Normally, this is where a project would die. A director being sent the wrong draft or reading an ending that everyone involved thinks is too outrageous would be enough to halt discussions right there. But thankfully for everyone involved, that's not the case with this story. Once Fincher read the finale, he immediately called his reps saying he had to make the film. It was perfect for his voice and was a great way to restore his name after the debacle that Alien 3 had been. He loved the idea that this grimy, pulpy crime thriller would take such a big swing and put its characters in such a, no pun intended, little box.
This guy's methodical, exacting, and worst of all, patient.
He's a nutbag.
And that's when it clicked for everyone. He had been sent the original, darker ending by mistake, which then sparked an elongated back and forth about which version of the film they'd move forward with. Fincher was dead set on the finale showcasing Mills' wife's head in the box that John Doe delivers to them in the field. He was convinced that this twist made the whole movie work. However, the producers had been exploring multiple other options due to the fact that they were concerned that the downer ending would turn audiences off and create bad word of mouth. The ending that producers and executives preferred involved Mills' wife Tracy surviving, and instead their dog's head would be in the box. This ending lacks the stakes, hubris, and darkly comedic flaws that shows Mills' tragic downfall. Alternatively, another ending includes Somerset shooting John Doe, taking the choice away from Mills. This also feels anticlimactic and untrue to the world that's been previously established. The whole point of the finale of the film is that Mills succumbs to wrath, and that John Doe's plan has a climax that involves his own death. That's a level of evil and nihilism that is so potent, how could it not be truly iconic. And despite filming multiple endings, having an internal push and pull attempting to cement which was the proper direction to take the story, the finale of the film ended in the exact way that Andrew Kevin Walker had originally scripted, largely due to the creative involvement of David Fincher.
What do you got?
Dead dog.
I didn't do that.
Fincher knew immediately what would happen if he strayed away from the narrative purpose the script had outlined. He knew that audiences were smart and could handle the more mature subject matter of the original draft. Sometimes you see something that's risky and you just know you have to go for it. That's the mark of a true visionary. Another would-be auteur would have maybe tried to play it safe. He just got kicked in the teeth over the production of Alien 3, so he could have been thinking about how to just get on base again, how to get the green light on another picture. Instead, he was finding ways of protecting the material, that the script's originality was protected against the vultures that were attempting to water down its best aspects. In the film industry as it exists today, is standing up for the soul of a piece like this even possible? Probably not. Sure, every once in a while you get a script that's not tied to a larger IP, but it's so rare that those make it to the screen unscathed. Even movies that are connected to existing stories or IP get butchered all the time. Remember the serial killer movie that came out in 2019? It was titled Extremely Wicked, Shockingly Evil, and Vile. It's the movie where Zac Efron plays Ted Bundy. Well, that movie came out, it did okay, and now it's kind of, oh yeah, I remember the film type of release. Well, it also had a life cycle very similar to Seven. Screenwriter Michael Werwey wrote a script titled the same thing years before the film was produced. He even won an Academy Award Nickel Fellowship for the script. It basically played out like a romantic comedy, but then in the last act, you realize that the charming and lovable lead of the film is noted serial killer Ted Bundy. Obviously, the film that was ultimately produced bears almost no resemblance to the idea. It's a much more straightforward biopic about the lives and crimes of Bundy, and as such, it's largely forgotten. Maybe we'd be saying something different if the film had a champion like Seven did with Fincher. Maybe it would be remembered as a cultural turning point for Efron. It just goes to show you all you need is one person to really believe in an idea. Granted, in this story, that one person is one of the best directors of all time, David Fincher.
When I said I admired you, I meant what I said.
But his defending of Andrew Kevin Walker's original ending showcases exactly what is so difficult about the creative process. At any point in the timeline of attempting to make a movie, you just need one person to not understand your idea. You just need one person to step in and say, hey, what if? And that can throw everything completely off its axis. Fincher did not have any power, politically speaking. He was just a guy coming off a failed movie, and the producers had to weigh his creative instincts versus their own, and that's all they really are at the end of the day, instincts. Thankfully, David Fincher didn't listen to anyone and stayed the course following his own path. And now we have the completely insane classic that is Seven. And who knows, in this day and age, maybe they'll even try to come up with a way to milk it for a legacy sequel. And this time, it'll be Brad Pitt's head in the box. God, that sounds so awful, it just might happen. And well, that's all we have for this episode of Nerdstalgic. What do you think? Would Seven have worked if they had gone with one of the alternate endings? Is there a version of Seven that could have worked without the bleakness of the ending? Let us know in the comments below, and as always, please like, comment, and subscribe for more movie videos just like this.